Hello everyone, welcome to SJ's classes. It's a discussion of the poem I Will Meet You Yet Again that I have for you today. It's written by the Indian poet Amrita Pritam. It's a beautiful love poem. It talks about the relationship the poet had with a painter and artist called Imroz. Here is an introduction to the poet. Amrita Pritam was an Indian novelist, essayist, and poet. She is considered as the first prominent female Punjabi poet and the leading 20th century poet of the Punjabi language. She was born in Guranwala, which was in the Pakistan part of Punjab on August 31st, 1919, when the former British India was partitioned into the independent states of India and Pakistan. She migrated to New Delhi in 1947. Her writing career began in 1935 with the publication of Cool Rays, which is her first collection of poems. She has more than 100 books to her credit, but she is best remembered for her poignant poem I Call Upon Waris Shah Today, which came out in 1949, which is an ode to Waris Shah, who was an 18th century Punjabi poet. And in the poem, she expresses her anguish over massacres during the partition of India. She is also remembered for the work Pinja, which can be translated into The Skeleton, that came out in 1950, in which she created her memorable character Puro, who is an epitome of violence against women, loss of humanity, and ultimate surrender to existential fate. Some of you might know that the novel was made into an award winning film, Pinja, which came out in 2003 and directed by Chandraprakash Dwivedi. Her works have been translated into many languages including Tamil, English, Spanish, Danish, Japanese, French, and even Mandarin. Mandarin is the official language of China. Her autobiography was titled Rasidi Ticket, which can be translated as The Revenue Stamp, and it came out in 1976. In this autobiography, she wrote about everything starting from her childhood to her marriage, her love, the ups and downs of her life, etc. Let's also look at some of the awards and honors that she received. In 1956, she became the first woman to win the Sahitya Academy Award for her magnum opus, a long poem titled Messages. And later, she received the Bharatiya Jnanapith, which is one of India's highest literary awards in 1982, for the work Paper and the Canvas. She was perhaps, or she was the first person to win the award for writing in Punjabi. She was the first person to win this particular title in Punjabi. The Padma Shri came her way in 1969, and finally Padma Vibhushan, which is India's second highest civilian award, in 2004. And the same year, she was honored with India's highest literary award given by the Sahitya Academy, the Sahitya Academy Fellowship, given to the Immortals of Literature for lifetime achievement. So, numerous important honors that she received during her lifetime. Apart from her writing career, she also worked as an editor for a Punjabi literary journal called Nagamani, and she edited it for 36 years. And she also worked at the National Public Radio broadcaster All India Radio in Delhi. She died on 31/10/2005 in Delhi at the age of 86. Now, something about the work that we are about to interpret today. I will meet you yet again. This poem is considered to be written before the death of Imroz, who was a renowned artist of her times, and also her partner, with whom she spent the last 40 years of her life. The relationships she has in her life were quite complicated. She walked out of a loveless marriage with Pritam Singh. She had an intense yet platonic romance with the famed Urdu poet Sahir Ludhianvi. And finally, she had a live in relationship with the artist Indrajit Imroz for nearly half a century. This poem is now considered as one of the most intense love poems. I'm sure you'll understand why I say that when we go through the verses. The poem enjoys an iconic status, next perhaps only to her ode to Varisha, which I earlier said that is one of her most remembered poems. Let's read the poem. I will meet you yet again, how and where I know not. Perhaps I will become a figment of your imagination, and maybe spreading myself in a mysterious line on your canvas, I will keep gazing at you. I will meet you yet again. The poet begins the poem on a note of optimism. For the time being, she says, we might be apart or separate, but I will meet you yet again. The verse could also mean that our time together might end soon, but we will meet again. How and where I know not. From optimism, the poet moves on to a note of unpredictability, but still there is hope hidden in it, especially when you read the lines in reverse. How and where I know not, I will meet you again. So the poet is unsure as to when, where, and how it will happen, but she is optimistic and hopeful that she will meet him. Perhaps I will become a figment of your imagination. Figment of your imagination means something made up, invented, or fabricated. She says, perhaps I will become a figment of your imagination, and maybe spreading myself in a mysterious line on your canvas, I will keep gazing at you. So the poet says that, and Imroz was a painter and artist, and perhaps that is why, or that is probably why the poet says that she might spread herself as a mysterious line, meaning as a mysterious person, on the canvas that Imroz paints, and by being that, she would keep on gazing at Imroz. Perhaps I will become a ray of sunshine to be embraced by your colors. The poet says that, or the speaker says that she would like to become a ray of sunshine, which would be then captured by the colors that Imrose would use to shade the canvas and thereby be portrayed on the painting. I will paint myself on your canvas. I know not how and where, but I will meet you for sure. So she would then, through the colors, paint herself on his canvas, and maybe this is how she would meet him later. It's to convey this particular idea that the poet brings in, and the lines which almost become a refrain in the poem. I know not how and where, but I will meet you for sure. Perhaps it's in this particular way, by becoming a painting on the canvas, that she will meet him again. Maybe I will turn into a spring and rub foaming drops of water on your body and rest my coolness on your burning chest. I know nothing but that this life will walk along with me. The poet in this stanza brings in the imagery of a spring, a natural flow of water, and uses several aspects that are part of it to state that maybe that is how she will meet him. She states that she would turn herself into a spring and then cool him with the foaming water in her. And in the last part of this particular stanza, she again moves into the note of unpredictability she maintained in the earlier stanzas. And she says that she knows nothing, but again ends it on a note of hope by saying that this life will walk along with me. This life has someone who is inseparable from you. It will continue. So again, she tries to wind it up on a note of optimism. When the body perishes, all perishes. But the threads of memory are woven of enduring atoms. I will pick these particles, weave the threads, and I will meet you yet again. The poet concludes by stating that when the body perishes, meaning when you die, everything inside you dies or perishes, except the threads of memory. And she says that it does not perish as it is made up of atoms or things that endure the test of time and hardship. She would then pick these enduring particles and weave the threads to meet him again, meaning her memories about him will never perish. He would always be safe in her memories, and perhaps that is where she will meet him again. So that is where the poem concludes. It's definitely a wonderful love poem. We understand the intensity of the love that the poet shared with this artist named Imroz by reading the verses in the poem. Thank you so much for being with me. I will see you in another video lesson.